Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Annie on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
For some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From Snow's Seafood and Steak on airline at 74 in Gonzales. Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Live at Lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott. Jordan Kinchin's back in the studio. Got good bit of things to cover today. It's the NBA draft. The Pelicans making a trade yesterday afternoon. Could more be on the way? We'll talk about that. LSU's national championship celebration going on tonight at Alex Box Stadium. Saw the massive Tiger float transporting the
Mardi
players.
Gras Mike.
Mardi Gras Mike transporting the baseball team. They're going to go do their shifted canes today the champs do.
Okay.
So they you got to arrange for transportation. Couldn't find an Uber, so they just took the Mardi Gras float.
The players are riding on it?
Yeah. It's kind of
from where? Just around campus?
Kind
of joyriding.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
You see the pictures right there. I'm showing you off on my phone. Can't. Anyway.
Why not?
Yeah, enjoy it. The thing at
the
Alex
owner of Rocco's Kevin was totally thrown off. No, sir, we don't have room for you to put your 100-foot
parking's limited.
Tiger. No, we don't have
limited parking. What else we got? Randy McKay's with us today. We're going to start our NFL previews with Randy. We'll be doing those once a week until the season starts. We're talking about the Bears today. Scott Rabelay's with us. He was in Omaha for all of the games for the championship. So we'll talk with him. Wes Reynolds was at the NBA Finals. Plus we got golf picks from Wes. So he's got plenty to share.
Yeah, I'd say.
So we got a lot today.
Well, the man is due. He had a winner last week.
Yeah.
Charlie, golf outrights are hard. That's why they're 30, 40, 60, 80 to 1. So
very difficult.
Wes with Keegan Bradley, the second name out of his mouth last week was Keegan Bradley. So
I hope that soothes it over for him with the Pacers having lost.
Let me answer for him. In all due respect for Wes, but no, it does not.
No. You get right there, and you get the double whammy. You lose Game 7, and then you lose your best player for all of next season. That's about as bad a day as you can have with a Game 7 coming up. We got afternoon baseball. Paul Skenes is pitching today against Jacob Misiorowski.
They're going against each other.
Yeah. Today it's a 1:00 start, 1:10, and. Of course, everybody knows who Skenes is. If you don't know who Misiorowski is, he was almost an LSU Tiger a couple of years ago. He had committed to Oklahoma State out of high school. He decided not to go to Oklahoma State. He went to a junior college. He was committed to come to LSU in 2022, would have presumably been here 22 and 23. He got an offer. He was a second-round pick of Milwaukee, and they paid him $1.2 million and change over slot. So he was somewhere. His signing bonus was about $2.3 million and change. So he decided to go pro, which I would have too.
Where was he drafted?
64. He was in the second round, and he had a slot of 1.1 something, and they gave him 2.3 something. So that's pretty.
With that stuff,
pretty significant.
He went the second round, huh?
Well, I don't know I'm not going to tell you that I ever saw any footage of him or what he did at junior college or anything like that. I know he was a highly thought of prospect. He's 6'7". He's 200 pounds. I don't know what his command was like at the junior college. I know LSU loved him, and obviously the Brewers loved him.
Wow.
And he has come out of the gate strong. He made his major league debut a little under 2 weeks ago. He threw 5 hitless innings at St. Louis, and he came back with 6 one-hit innings against Minnesota. So this guy has thrown 11 innings of professional baseball, has 11 strikeouts.
MLB baseball.
MLB baseball, and has given up exactly one hit. That's pretty good. So,
as good as that is, I think the visuals are better.
Yeah.
You seen him?
He's imposing, yes.
There's
no question.
He's got electric stuff. And to wear a little bit of the, okay, who's got kind of this Skenes-esque type of stuff? Mm-hmm. Now, does he have the repertoire Skenes does? He does not.
No.
Okay, but the movement and the velo.
He's throwing 100. So.
Oh, and it's moving too, Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
It's filthy. For a guy like 6'7", it's easy to say now. He's so impressive, early, and it'll taper off a little bit, but there's no reason this guy can't be, This could be a lot of fun. They're in the same division, so they have a chance to match up, from time to time, which they will today. So that kind of stuck up. I knew they were playing. I didn't know that they were both scheduled to start. But maybe, no, not maybe, stronger first two starts than Skenes. Skenes' first start against the Cubs was one of his weaker ones last year.
Yeah, I don't know any.
He gave up like 4 runs. Remember, it was.
Yeah, I remember. Can you remember a guy that came out and threw 11 one-hit innings in his first two starts?
I mean, you're going to go
11.
Like a Nomo or a Valenzuela.
11 one-hit innings is just nuts. So.
And how many strikeouts?
11 in 11 innings.
It seems like he would have more. His stuff looks like he would have more than that. So Skenes was. My point is. If somebody had to take one of the two right now, they're taking Skenes.
Sure.
Okay. Well,
but
I mean, he's just a year behind.
Yeah.
Basically, but his stuff can he become the pitcher now when they start seeing him, because after maybe 10 appearances, you start to look for, to get a little bit of a feel.
A read on you.
Yeah, a little bit of a read and things like that. We'll see, and Skenes is just blown through that. So it's fun. And we were talking about sort of the growth of the game and, how can you be interested in a game when, there's nobody kind of locally or you're, around you that's any good. So like the upper Northeast, the big markets up in New York and Pennsylvania and Boston, to nothing. Detroit, Cleveland, that area to nothing. But California, it can be a little bit. But it's the thing that it has that nobody else has. Basketball, and one of the things when we talk about the glory years of college basketball, guys that stayed in college and played 3 or 4 years, and you really know who they were before they ever stepped foot on an NBA floor. You have a little bit of that now, but it's way below. College baseball has that, and we're seeing it. And college baseball's never been at a higher level. One, this is an NIL good thing. It has improved the level of play.
Yes.
Because it's just not by coincidence that Skenes is up immediately, Dylan Cruz is up, Caglianone is up, and then last night Chase Burns from Tennessee or Wake Forest, his debut, he struck out 5, the first 5 he faced.
Yep.
And then Moore, who we talked about, who came up like last week for the second baseman, the best player for Tennessee's national championship team for the Angels. Well, he didn't do much off of Crozier, but Crozier's really good. It was kind of a theme last night. As soon as Rodon got out of the game, the bullpen got hit. As soon as Crozier got out of the game for Boston, bullpen got hit, lost the game. Ties it up 1-1 with a solo shot in the 8th, and then down a run, a 2-run shot to walk it off in the bottom of the 9th.
These are some impressive debuts.
These early, almost instant impact. And Caglianone has not had it, but then he hit like multiple home runs in his first home run game, and we know it's a matter of time with him. But these guys are coming in fresh earlier, and they're more impactful. And the other thing is in the transfer portal, and the number one pick in the draft played at 3 different colleges, in Incarnate Word, Washington State, and Miami. These guys at the high profile, there's no reason for them to jump if they're really good.
Yeah.
If a guy's at Tennessee, he's going to get taken care of. Guys at LSU is going to get taken care of. What is the motivation to jump from those programs? So he's with those programs, and then you got to get on the biggest stage. And these guys have getting into the biggest stage of College World Series, where you get way more exposure and way more eyeballs on the television. That's, I think, a legitimate ground for growth.
Yeah, and there's a few things that have aided in this besides that. When COVID hit, they cut the draft back from 40 rounds to 20 rounds. That eliminated a little bit of the teams that had excess money that they could just throw draft picks later. And it also, I think, there are more teams.
Talking about a guy that's you think he's a lock to, or he's already signed, but they might offer him way over.
Yes, way over slot.
Yeah,
you have fewer draft picks with which to work with now, and so they're less willing to take a chance. You have more organizations now eager. It's a philosophical thing within the organization to take college players over high school players. Not all of them. But, Jimmy, when we first started really following college baseball in the late 80s and into the 90s, the first round was what? 80% high school kids, maybe 80-90% high school kids, and now those percentages haven't completely flipped, but you have more college players being drafted up in the top than you do high school players. They want a quicker return on the investment. These guys are fighting for their jobs. They want to get kids that will get into their organization faster. Burns, it took him less than a year. It took Skenes less than a year. You could have put either one of these guys in the Major League bullpen as soon as they left Omaha. I mean, you really could have. They wouldn't have been out of place. Now, bringing them along slowly is a year. Well, used to be a lot longer than that. A lot longer than that. And if you draft, if whoever drafts Holiday this week, I know he's a hitter, when do you expect him up? 3 years from now? I mean, even a high-rated prospect like that as a hitter coming out of high school is probably at least 2 years away, if not further. So they're getting a quicker return on investment. They're getting a more polished player. The coaching is better. And, yeah, it's a big deal.
Coaching, they trust the coaching way more.
A lot more.
You got more budget.
Yep.
I mean, it's not Charlie, this is a real new thing. How long did this, okay, I'm going to get my pitching coach from Major League staff?
When LSU did that, it really raised eyebrows. It's
been 10 years, roughly.
They're in a hell of
yeah. We know about it. Nobody did that, and so they're just more of a respect, and then you're more of of all the ones. Billy Beane was kind of real big on the college players. With the A's.
Yeah.
Zito came from USC. Hudson came from from Auburn. I mean, some of these players. So, it's at an all-time high, and I think it's going to continue to grow.
Yeah. But what Beane did, which isn't as possible anymore. He got a lot of those college players at that time on the cheap. Because he had to, because they didn't have any budget. So he took seniors. And at the time, that wasn't really, like, oh, man, the guy's a senior. He's still a senior. We don't want. And he took college seniors.
But those guys had to pan out for this is not like a terrible route. No. He's just ahead of it.
He found very good players that other teams had overlooked. Now, I don't know that you get any more bargains with the college players as much as you would. A lot of now you're having to outbid.
We'll see in a draft again, but it's going to be more college players in the first round than high school players.
Yeah, a lot by a lot.
Well,
and it's even into the deeper rounds. We were talking about Ethan Fry yesterday. 5 years ago. That's not. It's not a decision. He's gone. Okay. It's a lock. Okay. It's a 95%. Well, now it's a decision because there may actually be more money in the NIL plus the draft bump you get, even if it's not a bump into the first round. That's different. That's go to game, Mincy. Go to game. had to throw that one in there.
Hey, Miss Skenes sent me they posted on LouisianaSports.net the prop bets between Skenes and Misiorowski.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's doing I think it's Bet Online AG. I'll look at some of the sites that we can actually bet around here a little bit, but
it is on MLB.com today. By the way,
MLB, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
I mean it's
a fun game.
Who's the top two pitchers in the game? Would you say is Skubal and
Skenes?
Yeah. Skenes got a little bit more juice, like pizzazz, just because he's a little younger. I don't know. Does he? I mean, Skubal's pitched in the ALCS last year.
Mr. Skenes is a bigger celebrity than Mr. Skubal because
and is that crazy? And Skubal's more decorated.
He is. Skenes was on the College World Series platform. Then he started the All-Star game. And then he's dating Livy Dunn. He's been on the cover of what is it, Vogue? Not Vogue, GQ or whatever. They did the shoot together.
GQ would be more than Vogue. Yes,
he's more famous. Okay,
you think he's more famous?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now some of it's got to do with her, the fame part, not the baseball part. The fame part. Yeah. She's famous, right? I mean, she's
very famous.
She's mega famous. I don't know who Mr. Skubal is dating or married to or whatever, but it's not somebody as high profile as her. So I would say Skenes is more famous. The baseball is phenomenal for both of them.
He's battling obscurity so bad you can't pronounce his last name.
What did I say?
Skubal.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Skenes with his
Tarek or Tariq?
Tariq, huh?
It's Tarek.
Tarek, okay.
That's it. You're up for two. That's all right. Your Skenes is more famous to Charlie.
That's right.
Do you count?
I don't know. On this, do I count? I don't watch a lot of Tigers baseball. Detroit Tigers baseball. I've been watching the other Tigers for the last few weeks.
We're at Snow Seafood and Steak, and yes, indeed, second-generation operation for over 50 years. The Sheets family, that's right, Mr. Todd took it from his dad, Mr. Snow. That's right. Hell of a ball handler back in his day, they say, as well, handling the rock. So, man, it's they got a big 35 top coming in here today. We're in one of the party rooms. They've got multiple party rooms. They can open it up to one big one. Holiday parties are always booked over here. But if you got a special event and we can do the screens for you, if you want to do any type of video presentation, you let us know, man. Just book it over here. They do a great job of it. Various different menu options. You can do the menu any way you want. Everything is in-house. We got a great wine selection, got great specialty cocktail menu, everything from fried seafood and a hamburger during lunch to a po' boy to choice steaks that we have each and every night. And we've got great fish specials as well, so a little bit of everything. Nightly chef specials that we have in addition to our great menu. We do for Tuesday through Friday lunch, closed on Monday, but 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. it is our lunch specials, and we do a plate lunch and a salad special each and every day in addition to our regular menu. And we got a lunch menu that's got, 30 different items on it. So if you cannot, it will please any palate. So there's something for everybody on the menu at Snow's Seafood and Steak.
Live at Snow's, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow's Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. New Handycast, our final one of the baseball season with Dan Canterbury yesterday. We dropped that one. That's available on YouTube right now. NBA draft is tonight. The Pelicans have the 7th pick in the first round, and they have the 23rd pick in the first round. And now after yesterday's trade, they have the 40th pick overall in the draft as well. There is some speculation that the Pels may be trying to build a package to move up, potentially for Ace Bailey. They could also stay where they are at number 7. And get there's 2 or 3 players that they've got in the bullpen. Malak, the center from Duke, is one. Bailey, there are some. You get various opinions on where he's going to go in between.
Won't talk to anybody.
As high as 3, and as low as 8 or 9. There are maturity questions there because he won't work out for anybody.
Won't interview. Won't talk to anybody.
Right. It's crazy. He's scary. He's got talent, but he's scary. Jeremiah Fears, a point guard from Oklahoma, is a possibility, though he could be gone. Con Knippel, who we talked about as the most likely to land with New Orleans when the draft lottery came out, probably now is going to be gone by that time. Trey Johnson, the shooting guard from Texas, could easily be there for New Orleans at number 7. He's a really intriguing prospect. So those are some of the things, some of the players that they're looking at tonight that could be in play for New Orleans. The trade yesterday moved C.J. McCollum from New Orleans to Washington for Jordan Poole is essentially the trade. Kelly Olynyk, who the Pelicans basically rented for about a month and a half, is on his way to Washington. Sadiq Bey, the former Villanova player who sat out all of last season with an injury, is coming back to New Orleans, and the Pels get a pick number 40 tonight. So here's the specs on the trade. McCollum and Poole put up numbers that were remarkably similar a year ago. McCollum averaged 21 points a game. Poole averaged 20.5 points a game. McCollum shot 44% from the floor. Poole shot 43% from the floor. 3-point range, McCollum shot 37.3%. Poole shot 37.8%. Poole was a better free throw shooter by quite a bit just last season, 72% to 88%. But the real numbers in the contract that you're looking at is the number of years left on the contract. They make roughly the same amount of money. McCollum, $30.7 million, Poole $31.8 million. The difference is that Poole's got an extra year left on his contract. Wizards are looking to get this money off the books a year earlier. The Pelicans think that in Poole, who is 8 years younger, right at 8 years younger, he just made 26, McCollum will make 34 before the season starts, that they have an ascending player. Do they? Well, Jordan Poole was off to a fantastic start in his NBA career in a really good spot with the Golden State Warriors. In fact, he was on that championship team back in 2022, and he averaged 18 points a game for that team. Then the next year, he got into that preseason altercation with Draymond Green. Green laid him out, and a lot of people say that Poole's never been the same since. That his first year in Washington was not good at all. Did not shoot the ball well. Rebounded last year very, very well and shot the ball a lot better. He's a liability on defense, and he's more of a shoot-first kind of guy, but the percentages, again, I just gave them to you, are about the same as McCollum's. He's 8 years younger, and he got 1 more year left on his contract. So we'll see if this trade sticks just on its own and they take their draft picks to where they've got them, or if they decide to package some of what they have received from Indiana and now Washington and move up in this draft.
I mean, that kind of sucks. Didn't work out because McCollum was such a professional.
He did everything you asked him to do. You asked him to come in and score. He did. You asked him to be a leader. He was. You asked him to be a locker room stabilizer. I mean, he got Zion to come back from Oregon, and everybody, and I mean everybody that talks about C.J. McCollum's efforts off the floor, in the community in New Orleans, in the locker room, just with the people in the building, the staff and stuff like that. Not just the assistant coaches, but the secretaries, the scouts.
That's because we did those shows down there at the Bet Rivers a Chairman's Club, and the staff members that we talked to said, man, the first day he's here, he rented 2 food trucks from us, fed all of it. We're talking about, I don't know, 60, 70, 80 people. I mean, he didn't do everything was asked of him. He went above and beyond.
He did.
To try and be a pro, be generous, be mature. You're not going to hear him in compromised situations from a nightclub to with some chick or whatever. I mean, so it kind of sucks because he was part of the glue of that locker room. You know, we thought Willie Green was kind of there was a level of respect, you know, in it. And so that's the biggest thing that you're turning the page on. You know, and
he did everything he could do. He couldn't keep the rest of the team healthy. I mean, he talked to him about his workouts and his the stretching and the game prep and all that stuff to try to help him, and it he did what he could.
Nobody can.
He did
How
what
much
he could.
is that somebody's fault? The individual's the condition to just bad luck. You know, who knows?
There was some of both of that. I'm trying to get I think we'll have a lot clearer picture on what Joe Dumars' full-term plan is after tonight. You know, what is he trying to accomplish? What's he trying to work around here?
Does seem like he's at least got a plan and just trying to put some things in motion.
It's going to be different. That's for sure.
Don't forget our friends at Legacy Title. Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title for all of your real estate closings. 296-0060. Full-service title company servicing all of South Louisiana. Fast, friendly, professional services, which you get when you call 296-0060. A great team at Legacy Title. Ashley Bonham-Donald, Mariana Broussard-Hayes, Adrian Reese-Galata, Michael Platt, Natalie and Bradford Smith. Buying, building, refinancing. Nobody choose but you. Choose Chad Reynolds at Legacy Title. 296-0060.
Start our NFL previews with Randy McKay when we come back live at Snow's Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Uh-oh, they let the big dog out.
Boom! Out of nowhere.
It's time for the big dog, Randy McKay, with his best picks.
Big dog, what's going on, man? I guess you're in Las Vegas. You know, there's a lot of new, let's just say with the PASPA rule, there's an explosion of sports gambling media. One of the old timers, Jim Feist, you're on his show. At Dom DeMarco's. You're going to get a good meal and go check out old Jim Feist. Tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah, I decided to make a late last-minute trip to Vegas here and got invited. I was down there last year when he was doing his show at Don DeMarco's. Of course, I know the owner, Al Skelliott. If you ever get a chance to visit his place, is one of the best pizza you can get in Vegas at Don DeMarco's and Brooklyn's Best. So I decided to go down there, and he wanted to meet me. So they're having a little dinner today, get together, and discuss what they're doing for the season. They have a weekly show there. I think it's every Thursday. So maybe I'll be a part of that this year a little bit.
Al's the one to bring humans his pizzas on Friday night for his handicapping show, huh? For his contest show.
Yeah, he's the sponsor of Human's show there, and I've had his pizzas a few times, and trust me, you won't be disappointed with his pizza. It's an old Brooklyn recipe he's got.
So he's from New York, huh?
Yeah, he grew up in Brooklyn, and now he has about 3 or 4 stores here in Vegas.
Gotcha. You know, we kind of interested in this showdown. Is it jump on? I don't know how much MLB you're betting right now, but Paul Skenes and Jacob Misiorowski, their first pitch in an hour and a half at Miller Park was it now Family Fun Park or whatever the heck it is.
I thought that was Wally World. America's Family Fun Park. Yeah.
But Skenes, these are 2 hot shot young pitchers, man, and all kinds of different. By the way, Skenes 7.5. This is the over under on how many strikeouts for him. Misiorowski is 5.5. Keep in mind, Misiorowski in his 2 starts, 86 and 81 pitches. Skenes the last 7 outings, 99 pitches a game. So he is not – Misiorowski's probably a little bit on that pitch count that Skenes was last season. Maybe not that strict, but anyway, he's throwing about 15, 20 pitches more than Misiorowski at this point. But all kinds of fun stuff there, man. And, DraftKings has a big old menu about, first 1 to 2 strikeouts, 5 strikeouts, things like that. First to 3 strikeouts, Misiorowski's minus 120, Skenes is minus 110, hits allowed, all kinds of fun stuff with that one.
Yeah, I'm sure they do, and I'm sure John Candy won't be taking your ticket at the door there when you go to the ticket. But it should be a good match.
You got that one, huh?
Between these two pitchers for sure.
We're closed. Moose out front should have told you.
Hey, let's start with this one. Is it fair to say, as we talk about the Chicago Bears, that's our weekly feature, NFL feature, and we look at it from the futures. First of all, they're 40-1 to win the Super Bowl. To win the division, they're last choice. That's a tough division. Lions are first choice, plus 140. Green Bay plus second choice, plus 260. Then Minnesota with the rookie quarterback at 4-1, and they are at plus 425. Total on the win total is 8.5. Now, we know that the new coach, they've gone out and gotten some offensive linemen, Caleb Williams in his second year. But, we're still wondering how good he is. We know he was pressured a lot, but lukewarm at best type of a rookie season. But the decision-making, the situational awareness for everybody saw on Thanksgiving Day was horrendous. Playoffs plus 150 as well. The schedule, let's start with the division. Green Bay, Detroit, Minnesota's collective record last year was 40-11. It doesn't get much tougher. And then how about the two divisions they play? AFC North is one of the better divisions. And when you say the NFC East with Washington, Philadelphia, Dallas, the Giants might be improved. That's a tough one as well. And the other games against teams like Saints, San Francisco, and I'm missing one other one. So your thoughts on the Chicago Bears?
Yeah, initial thoughts here is under 8.5 minus 125. I think it's the best number at DraftKings right now. Just looking at the road schedule, tough to pick out a win there unless they win early at Las Vegas. Then they got a bye after that. Early bye. Might be all right with a new coach and quarterback to get them going a little bit, but their first 4 games could be 0-4 if they don't win that Las Vegas game. Of course, they got the Cowboys at home. They could win that, or the Vikings too. But I did like how they improved the offensive line. They drafted Loveland, the tight end. Surprising to take the other tight end that the Colts got, but they took Loveland instead. 3 offensive linemen. Should bolster the offensive line with Tooney from the Chiefs, Jackson from the Rams, and Dahlman from Atlanta. Their offensive line was one of the worst last year, and Williams had to run for his life, and of course Ben Johnson wants to establish a running game here, so it was a good move by them to do that, and but I think it'll take some time. And getting off to a bad start might not be a good recipe here. So we'll see how they do up to the bye and then go from there. But like you said, their schedule's very tough on the road. A little easier at home. Maybe they get most of their wins at home. But, under 8.5 still a play for me.
Doesn't it, you tell me if I'm wrong, but it seems that, is it still this way? Since they have some sports books and some legalized gambling in the Chicago area, there's a big chunk of Chicago people that go to Vegas in the offseason and make a lot of future bets on the Bears. It seems like they're always publicly bet on these type of futures. Is that still the case with sort of the sports gambling being accessible near the Chicago area now?
Oh, yeah, most definitely. They'll still be one of the most popular bet teams in the futures market. And, of course, RSW as well. You see that with all the Chicago teams, Cubs especially, maybe not so much the White Sox. And, of course, you see it with the Bulls. So you see with those 3 teams, and then you go from there. But, you're making a contrarian play to what the public likes here, too. So usually any year, and we've had the Bears under the last couple of years off and on, so it's been a profitable one for us, and I believe it'll be profitable for us again. This team probably a year away with the new coach and new quarterback from making some noise in the division.
Charlie, this schedule's brutal.
If they were anywhere else, I'd like them a lot more. The Packers won 11 games last year, finished third in that division. They would have won 2 of the other 3 divisions in the NFC. There's a couple things that I'm curious about with the Bears. Number one, I thought that Luther Burden was a really nice pick up at the top of the second round. We liked him at Missouri. His numbers dipped his senior year, but only because the quarterback play dropped off, and he was the one focal point of every defense.
Quarterback was hurt half the time.
Yeah. So his number drop was not something that I attributed to him. You put him on there as a third or fourth option, I think he becomes a dangerous player. I thought he could have easily gone in the first round. The second one is, I'm curious what you guys think about DeAndre Swift. They brought him in to be a lead back and a big receiving threat. It never quite worked out as well as I thought they hoped it was. The numbers were okay, but they were more of compiled numbers. He wasn't as big a play threat as they thought he was going to be, at least as far as I could tell. So what kind of year does he have? And is Luther Burden, you make him the third receiver, the slot guy. Man, I think he's a dangerous cat.
DeAndre Swift he didn't get bad. He went from arguably the best offensive line to one of the weakest.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
that's fair.
I mean, it's where would you rank? Because whether it's the 6 games in your own division, the 4 in the AFC North, the 4 in the NFC East. I mean, are these the top 3 divisions this year in the NFL, Randy?
Yeah, definitely are, and definitely they're the top. You can put maybe the NFC West in there. I kind of like the Cardinals and the 49ers and the Rams, of course. As far as you never know what you're going to get out of Seattle. I think you're going to get a good defensive effort, but you can put them in that mix as well. So that, it's 3 out of the 4, and then you could have the AFC or NFC West. So definitely a very tough schedule here. Not too many easy games for them, except for maybe the Giants or Las Vegas on there.
I mean, that's all I need to know.
You're going to play the Saints?
You're going to have come on, Charlie. Come on, we're supposed to be positive with the Saints here, huh?
Yeah, okay.
I mean,
I'm trying.
They will be the biggest favorite. I think that the Giants will have a higher power rating this year. I think the Giants are going to be improved. I mean, how bad were they last year? How can they not be?
They're going to get better quarterback play, wouldn't you think?
A little bit,
yeah.
But don't you think Daniel Jones is going to be the starter at Indianapolis, Randy?
I do believe so. Early, we'll see what happens here. You never know with this Richardson kid. I mean, the kid seems like he's a mess upstairs, and and then he's been getting hurt as well. And we'll see if he ever gets it together. If he gets it together, he could be a good player, but. I don't know.
It's kind of a problem. NFL quarterback who's a poor thrower. That'll complicate things.
You brought him in with limited college starts and put him right in the lineup, man. I mean, you want to talk about throwing somebody in the deep end?
Yeah, man,
it's a tough spot.
Yeah,
tough spot.
I know we have Wes Reynolds on later, and he feels that Daniel Jones is going to be the starter for his hometown.
Came out of OTAs with the clear edge.
Hometown Colts as well. But that's enough for me. I mean, you're going to tell me all I got to do is finish below 500 with arguably the toughest schedule in the league. I mean, do we have those? We have those the schedule rankings. I mean, how this has got to be. I mean, this is that they're still a work in progress. I mean, we can all agree on that, huh? I mean, they got a chance to be okay, but man, they don't have things set up like these other teams.
First year coach, and the quarterback is still finding his sea legs. This is a transition year for Chicago. This is them trying to set up, a potential run the second year. That's what I think.
Randy, where is Charlie? You too, but Randy, you first. Williams 1-32. What kind of range? Where do you think he's going to be? His level of play this year as the starting quarterbacks who will get the most starts for their team in the NFL.
We'll see if he gets inside the top 20 as far as quarterback. He wasn't there last year, of course, but he was under a lot of duress and with that inept coaching he had, and he's running around for his life. But he's got to learn how to be a pro quarterback as well. They said he didn't know how to study film and that kind of stuff. I've heard, and and Ben Johnson being there, being his whisperer, let's say. Hopefully, we'll get him to be a pro quarterback and get him to be, better, more ready for an NFL game.
Charlie?
Mid to top of tier 3. It's somewhere between, say, 17 and 20. That's where I expect him to play this year.
17 and 20?
17 to 20. The top of tier 3.
17 to 20.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you think he's going to get inside that top 20? I'd say I'll go maybe a couple inside, maybe a couple over. He's got to show some better decision making for me.
Here's what I would hope if I was Chicago. Show me that you're better in December than you were in September. Show me that you're making progress. That's what I'd most want to see.
Well, with that, you got to show a work in progress, a team that's a work in progress with that schedule. Give me the under as well. I'm with you, Randy. Randy, enjoy your day, man, over at Al Scallions, man, and in the Jim Fife show. We'll try and look for it. That's going to be 2 o'clock our time here in the Central Time Zone. Thank you, brother.
And I got a couple NBA leans or drafts.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I've seen Senga top 10. And then Kalkbrenner first round, -175, -120 on the Senga top 10. So you're at your DraftKings location there. That's what I seen for the other night or for tomorrow night. So there you go for that. And thanks, guys. Good luck, everybody out there.
All right, Kalkbrenner first round and Senga. Spell it for me, Max.
Senga.
Senga, Senga.
Yes.
Okay, and where's he out of?
I think he's a foreign
I'm
player.
sorry.
Okay. Foreign play. Thank you, Randy. Follow Randy on Twitter at RR39. Don't forget our friends over at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big. You know, running a business can be difficult enough without the right relationship with your bank. With United Community Bank's local business bankers, you're not just a number, you're a partner. Our great bankers like Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry, and Prentice Wilkes. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Sorry, Noah Sengue is from France. A Sengue, ESSENGUE.
Increasingly, we need to increase our
Essen Lane at GA.
Sengue from France.
ESSEN.
Our French, our Spanish, man. We
Gracias, Max.
live at Snows, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Foreign language class here on Live at Lunch. If you're going to do the NBA draft, you got to learn the language. You got to German, Italian, French, Spanish, and whatever else. So clarify what we were, because none of us could spell it.
You're going to see some Europeans. We've seen a lot of Frenchmen lately, obviously. Yeah. Noah Sengue from France. Right now, I think the most common mock we've seen is 9 to the Raptors. But yes, he's still -120 at DraftKings right now to go in the top 10.
Okay, so that's a nice price.
Noah Sengue.
Essen, like Essen Lane at GUE.
Right.
Essen, GUE.
Why couldn't they just take Cooper Flag? I can pronounce that.
Yes.
Good luck with that.
We might be learning Malawach lately.
I learned how to say Knipple.
Knipple, yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun name to say. I can say Trey Johnson.
By the way, one worth mentioning, Jonathan Gavoni of ESPN has mentioned in the last 24 hours there's been a little bit more smoke towards Derek Queen with the Pelicans because of Weaver, the assistant president of basketball ops, spent some time with Washington. His son was a member of that Maryland team.
7 seems a little early for him, but we'll see. Hour number 2 straight ahead. Scott Rattler
Live
with
at
us
lunch. Enjoying the finer things in life is his forte. Let's bring in Scott Rabelais from The Advocate.
And we return here at Snow Seafood and Steak on Airline Highway at 74 in Gonzales. Jimmy, what you get the lunch specials right there?
Chicken piccata.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. That's our I'm sorry, that's tomorrow, Charlie. The chicken piccata is tomorrow.
Come tomorrow, that
to check
chicken
us out.
piccata.
Today is the beef tenderloin quesadillas. How about that? thinly sliced beef seasoned and served with onions, triple pepper mix, and a flour tortilla shell with our own Oaxaca cheese blend and cilantro rice verde. Southwest chicken salad, also, we've had that, both of us, Charlie. It's really good. Mixed green corn chips, black beans, roasted corn, chives, cilantro, topped with chicken, served with chipotle ranch dressing. So that's today. The beef tenderloin quesadillas and Southwest chicken salad. Tomorrow, the chicken piccata and taco salad. And Friday's seafood day for our specials here at Snow's Seafood and Steaks. The fried barbecue shrimp and grits and the blackened shrimp citrus salad.
Let's bring in Rab, fresh back from Omaha. How was your trip, Scott?
I'm not sure how fresh I am, but I am back home. It was good. I was there so long, I got to vote in the tech election before I left, so that was nice.
I saw
all
Hunt
good.
Palmer yesterday. As I saw Hunt yesterday, it's the first time he's been up there for the whole time. And he looked at me and says, "You did this how many times?" I said, "Yeah, it's a long haul. But when you make it all the way from to the championship round, it does that." So your big takeaways, you like I said, you were up there the entire time from an LSU standpoint, Coastal standpoint, umpire standpoint. What stuck with you when you got on the plane to come home?
Just how Koki Riley and our beat writer were talking about, where does this team rank? And you've seen all these teams that have won in Omaha. And, is it the greatest LSU team ever? No, I don't think so. But they sure were resilient. I mean, from putting themselves in a bad position against Little Rock in the regional. Well, I wonder how they feel about themselves right now. Huh? Hey, you took the national champs to the break.
Pretty good
in the regional.
Pretty good.
Yeah, really.
Shook up the champs.
And we just so resilient. I think they had 8 games this year where they came back from 3 runs down or more, and then they had, including that game against Little Rock, where they were down 5-1 in Game 7. To obviously the comeback against Arkansas, which was one of the all-time great LSU victories in Omaha. They just never doubted. They never doubted themselves. Had a tremendous amount of confidence, and I think both these teams were very confident coming to the championship series. Coastal with their 26-game winning streak, and LSU for all these comebacks, feeling like you just came back 3 down 3 times to Arkansas the game before, and they were still maybe the best team, most talented team in the country. And so I think that was the thing. I think Coastal was a very good team, not a great team. I think they won the Super Regional at Auburn, and that was impressive. I still don't know how Auburn was the number 4 national seed, but okay. And they had some great wins, but they didn't go through the meat grinder that LSU did. And I think in the end that helped them obviously playing in the SEC and surviving it as well as they did. And then, the umpiring situation. Yes? Hello?
I was just going to say, good point on these comeback wins, Scott and Charlie, because you had number 6 national seed, and you don't come back in a couple of those. I mean, what was the Tennessee game was 3-0 in the 9th. The Arkansas. I mean, you had some of these wild comebacks. You lose maybe a couple of those. You fall outside that top 8, and you risk the danger of not playing your last games to clinch Omaha. None of the 8 national championship teams clinched the trip to Omaha outside of Alec Box Stadium.
That's right. That has been a thing for LSU. That back in the regional days, they were able to do that a couple of times, winning at Texas A&M, winning at UNO, but not in this format. So that's been crucial for LSU's hopes, obviously. So all those Jay talks about a 56 game playoff regular season, and this is why, because all of those games matter and they add up and they put you in position to be the champions and to go through like they did, and with only the loss to Little Rock.
Yeah, what I'll remember about this team is that there were very few times where they were hitting on all cylinders in the regular season. It would seem like they were a boxer that could knock you out with either hand, because there were times where the bullpen was their strong point. And then the second portion of the SEC schedule, the starters, the top 2 starters really haul a mail. there were some games where the bats really got going, and then there were times where the offense would go cold. The one thing that I think stayed consistent from Game 1 to Game 70 or Game 68, whatever it was the gloves. This was as good, the best fielding team that I've seen at the school. The infield was rock solid. And it wasn't a given. The shortstop didn't play shortstop the year before. The third baseman didn't play third base the year before. The second baseman was coming, with a reputation of, what position is he going to play? And the catcher didn't hardly catch it all last season, and they were still, one of the top defensive clubs in the entire country. That's what I'll remember about them as much as anything, is their ability to take different portions of this ball club and have them carry them for portions of the season, while that defense was there the whole year. Scott, for Jay Johnson, he's sort of being elevated to the very top of the game, and his record bears that out. This is new for LSU. I don't remember a coach this young that is going to perceivably be here for a long time that has ascended this quickly. With Saban, it was always, when's he going to leave? When Bertman was on his run, it was, we know Skip's closer to the end there. He coached here for 17 years, but when he won that last title, it was like, we know Skip's getting ready to retire. This guy has won 2 titles. He's 48 years old. He's got the best program in college baseball. He's got every possible resource, and he has no lingering eye towards anywhere else. Even with Kim Mulkey, it's like, Kim's still got a lot of coaching left in her, but she's closer to the end than the beginning. With Jay Johnson, the sky's the limit. And I don't know that LSU's ever been in this position with a coach at this age.
I don't either. Who's had this kind of success? I mean, obviously. When Skip came to LSU, he was farther down the road, and Dale Brown came to LSU in young, but never reached this level of success. Of course. So I don't. I think you're hard pressed to think of too many. I mean, there's not many coaches who have the multiple national titles. So 3-track coaches, Skip Bertman, and a golf coach none of y'all have ever heard of, named J. Perry Cole, back in the 40s. There's only people who have won multiple national titles at LSU. And he's already there to be the first baseball coach with 2 and 4 years at a school is speaks for itself. And then I asked him when we went over to the team hotel as they were getting ready to leave on Monday. I said, people are going to wonder if basically asked him, people are going to wonder if the fire still burns after 2 titles as much as it did before the first. And he just kind of looked at me, basically saying, it does. I mean, it's a special thing, I think, you see with athletes and with coaches, guys. Sometimes they get to the mountaintop and they get that ultimate victory, and it's like, okay, I've done it, and do I want to keep doing it? I think we saw it with that Orgeron, obviously. You saw it with a golfer like David Duval, who got to number 1 in the world and won the British Open, and he was like, I'm done, basically. I've done what I've strived to do. And then you have those, the people like Tiger Woods and the people like, I think, Jay Johnson, who want to do it again. What satisfies you? Doing it again. And he talked about being at the airport after they won the title in 23. Somebody asked him, what are you doing? He said, I'm trying to do it again. And I'm pretty sure that's the attitude he has today, the same as he had 2 years ago. So if you're an LSU fan, you can only hope that he stays happy with the administration. Obviously, things are going to change at LSU with the leadership. You have to only hope, if you're a fan, that he doesn't become soured by that. I mean, anything is possible. But as long, and of course the world of college coaching is changing so much with the portal and with revenue sharing now and NIL and that sort of thing. But if he doesn't get disenchanted, LSU could be for a long run and the second coming of a dynasty like you had back in the 90s.
I'm not at all concerned about his focus. Next year when we're doing previews for this, we'll talk about championship hangover. I'll be more worried about the players than I am about the coach. As far as him with the administration, I am most of the time anti what I call frivolous coaching extensions, which, you just throw them out there to give the coach a bigger buyout the day that he leaves. If there's nobody, who's going to come get him. In the case of Jay Johnson, an extension and a significant raise is warranted for two reasons. Number one, what he's done. Okay, that's the obvious part. The other thing is, the guy's happy as he could be here. He's got the top program in the country. There's a school about 6 hours west of here that's going to fire their coach probably a year from now and has got oodles of money. I would prefer to shut them out at the gate. So that's just me. This is one of the times where you're saying, is a long-term extension and a significant raise in order? Absolutely. When you put up two like this. Scott,
to your point, Charlie, if I may real quick, you make a very good point because people probably don't think about it in these terms, a lot of people, but he left a pretty good program with a pretty great tradition itself in Arizona to come to LSU, right? I mean, they've won 4 national titles. They've had a lot of success. He almost took them to the national championship in 2016 when they lost to Coastal. So yeah, you can't, you want to head off that part of him that might say, well, can I do it somewhere else? Can I achieve this again at somewhere else with a lot of resources? You're absolutely right. You gotta try to lock him up as long term as you can.
Yeah, you want him to not to even take that call. And right now, he's not even taking the call. A year from now, hey, look, A&M's going to come with a dump truck full of money for somebody. Make sure it's not your guy. And I'm pretty confident that the LSU will do the right thing there for sure. What are your thoughts about where the team goes from here? We always look to next year when you do the celebration tonight, but how this team stacks up for next season?
Well, I mean, you have some holes as always. You have some holes, and you have some key players coming back. I mean, returning guys like Derek Curiel and Stephen Milam and Jake Brown are that's a good place to start. But you have lots of guys who have decisions to make, right? Like Chris Stanfield and Ethan Fry and Chase Shores. I mean, is Chase Shores developing one pitch away from becoming, another Skenes or Cade Anderson? I mean, the way he progressed through the season, as you thought he had a chance to do after coming off that surgery, and it takes over a year or more sometimes. But Kason Evans can be a leader. William Schmidt, I think, is a pitcher. Everybody's like, maybe he underperformed this year, but it doesn't mean he's not going to come out next year and have the potential to be a weekend starter for you and show you everything that he did. And there's a lot of other pitchers too. That I'll say this, Cookie Riley, who does a great job covering LSU baseball for us. By the way, he's the big baseball guy. Likes the Red Sox. He's a Red Sox fan because he's from Massachusetts. So that might sit well with some people and some might not. And he's not Mr. Pie in the sky, like, oh, everything's wonderful, everything's wonderful. He's not one of those sports writers. He's like a lot of us, and he is very bullish on LSU's chances to be, at least a top 5 team going into next year, as they were this year, from most people's rankings. So I think obviously they got some key. They've got to add some key pieces. They've added one from the Devin Sheeran. I'm saying his first name right. It's kind of a weird spelling.
He was on the team this year. He never pitched. There was some rumors going around he was maybe going to pitch late in the season, but no, he's a premium arm, and he'll be healthy next year. For Schmidt, he's got the ability to make a big jump next year. It's an important summer for him. He just needs to pitch. That's kind of my deal with him. Get him up there and pile some innings up in the summer and work on these things, because there weren't a lot of opportunities for him to pitch in the last, say, month and a half of the season. So, and I feel the same way about Jaden Newt. Go out and pitch, because there's more innings. There's premium stuff from both of those guys. They just need to pile up some innings, and the summer's the time to do that. Scott, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy. We'll talk to you next Wednesday.
All right, guys. Take care. Thank you.
We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store. Right now at thethibodeaustore.com, DeWalt Power Tools are on special. Some significant savings on DeWalt chainsaws, on the cordless trimmers, on the hedge trimmers, the compact cordless chainsaws, the brushless cordless pole saws, plus the brushless push cordless lawn mowers. Lots of other specials on the power tools. Out on the patio furniture on special now at thethibodeaustore.com. Garden accessories, including tools and hoses, all of those significant savings right now at the website. Cajun Cooking Specialty Cookware shipped right to your door at thethibodeaustore.com, or if you're going into the facility, 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux. You can check out all of the cooking accessories, the grills, the griddles, the pots that they've got there. Also, if you're going down the coast fishing, huge supply of fishing gear at the Thibodaux store. 900 St. Patrick Highway in Thibodaux, and online it's thethibodeaustore.com.
Yeah, and you can get that Cajun cookware delivered to your home. And we talk about the different sizes and different price points. For instance, like the roll-around burners in pots. You know, it comes from 4-gallon, 10-gallon, 15-gallon, up to 20-gallon. So all kinds of different sizes, different price points for all of their outdoor cookware. Of course, Big Green Egg and all the accessories, and they do their own. Create their own crawfish paddles to the skillet. What is it? Like the jambalaya paddles, pastalaya paddles, and things like that. The roux spoons, wooden and iron. So I mean, dip nets for seafood boils. You talk about everything, man. They have everything you need, more than you can imagine, over at the Thibodaux store for your outdoor cooking gear.
Wes Reynolds with us when we come back live at Snows, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
From east, north to south, but we're heading west. It's Wes Reynolds from VSiN.
Wes, how you doing, buddy?
I'm well. I'm better than I was on Monday morning. So we're moving on to the off season. I'm moving on to Indiana football. So we're on to Old Dominion, which is our season opener after what unfortunately happened on Sunday night.
Hey, don't sell the Monarchs sharp. But Charlie, I mean, Nola, no call. Where can we help out Wes on trying to, Game 7, and it's not like he wasn't hurt. It's not a complete surprise, but damn it, he was playing his behind off. He's the best player in the court, to start the game.
I can only give you one, and it wasn't because of an injury. It's the LSU-Alabama National Championship game where LSU had been just terrific all season and went in the Superdome and laid that, whatever you want to call it, in that 21-0 loss. That's LSU fans that their downest moment. It'll be we thought we had it. We thought we had it. And then
so you're saying you're equal to Wes is losing his best players, his most important player in the first quarter of the championship game is kind of like Les Miles was available to coach?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I was just making sure we're on the same page.
That's exactly right.
Wes,
that's exactly right.
There you go. There's your empathy.
Yeah. And I felt so bad not only for Tyrese, who, I got to give him credit because he knew what the risks were, but he's like, this is Game 7 of the NBA Finals. How many times do you get to get here? And you can never take it for granted. It may not be your last shot, but it may very well be your only shot. And, I appreciate what he did and going out there and gutting it out and, rooting for him. But the hardest part, Jimmy, wasn't the was they lost to a 68-win team that, was the second best net rating in history behind the 95-96
right.
Bulls and all that stuff. But the hardest part was I didn't get up to, Monday morning to say, hey, wait till next year. Even if they would have lost a competitive Game 7, did have a let's see next year, because you're basically running it back with a presumably healthy Tyrese Halliburton, and that you're right there. That at the bare minimum, you were 2 quarters away from winning an NBA title. So you weren't going to, blow up the team or anything. So now there's an interesting decision. Do you run it back, re-sign Miles Turner, and just, the cast on Halliburton, or do you make trades, kind of like what Boston is doing, where they're shedding cap and, having to deal with that, with Tatum obviously not being available for the better part of next season. So interesting decision in Indianapolis.
I'll give you something that you can kind of maybe feel good about, and that is where college athletics seem to like spill over into the NBA postseason this year, because it seemed like the Pacers were kind of being slighted with their chances and their accomplishments and things like that. It's like, well, no, this is professional sports. You got to win so many games to qualify for the playoffs, and then you win your playoff games and you move further along throughout the bracket. It's not like you're waiting on a committee to either put you into playoff or not, or back in the old days, just vote for the national championship or not. It's not gymnastics. But Indiana, the Pacers, they were the stars of this postseason. I mean, when you talk about the highlights, how many, if you've got to do like a top 10, I mean, what were they, 8 of the top 10? I mean, even with a just somewhat historic team like Oklahoma City, trust me, Wes, this team was if they were the Knicks, my gosh, what would they have done with all the Knicks kit, all the pub and the hype that they get? Your Pacers were the stars of this postseason.
Yeah, I would agree with that, and I know Bill Simmons made that observation on the Ringer podcast with Zach Lowe, and I think he was absolutely right. And there were people that are going to troll you on social media when you're all about a team and your fandom shows. There are going to be people that say, "Oh, it was a lucky run." So it's like, well, I guess they got lucky 15 times in the playoffs because that's how many games that they won. We hope to get that lucky, man, with our bets, like during upcoming football season. So let me get lucky 15 times in a row. I would appreciate that, but yeah, we'll see where it goes. I think the East is wide open. I don't think the Pacers, I wouldn't power rate them number 2 like I would with the healthy Halliburton. They're probably a 5 or a 6, maybe even a 7 seed coming into next season. But it'll be interesting to see because I don't think there's one team in the East that's like, okay, that's the team to beat. And this Thunder team, we'll see if they can keep it going. Denver couldn't do it a couple years ago when they won the title, and they were clearly the best team. They were out of gas by like February. So the Thunder got to counteract that for next season.
15-8 for the postseason for the Pacers, so not face elimination game until Game 6 of the finals, and they won that one and went on. So just a tough one in the Halliburton. There's going to be a lot of shuffling around. There already is with everybody trying to maneuver with the looking at the Celtics and because of their injury, and now similar situation with the Pacers as well, because certainly the Pacers with the healthy, the Celtics with the healthy Tatum, they're maybe the favorite, to run it back. I mean, the Pacers and getting that that playoff seasoning the last 2 years. They played more games in the playoffs than anybody else in the league. And we talk about how much of a difference the game is in the postseason. So you had that, but now you got this injury, and he's their star. So Joe.
And so for Indiana, for Boston, these stars are out. Is Milwaukee going to trade Giannis tonight? With the Lillard injury, they've got no room to maneuver. He is pretty adamant that he wants another shot at a second title. It's not going to come in Milwaukee anytime soon. Do they move Giannis tonight? That's outside of who gets drafted by the Pelicans. That's what I'm watching the most. Does Giannis get moved?
One final thing before we get to your golf picks. All we're looking for is another winner. We thought that Keegan Bradley would turn that frown upside down for you a little bit in that 18th hole, that 2-stroke swing. But how would you compare you going to this event? Because that's something that we hadn't been to, is the NBA Finals for our team, and but how would you, where would you rank that as far as spectating, going to a sporting event?
Well, it's near the top for me. I did attend the Super Bowl when the Colts finally broke through in Miami all those years ago, so that's going to be number 1 for me because that was just the culmination of them putting a great team together with Peyton Manning and the whole cast and Tony Dungy, the whole organization. But this is up there, probably top 3 for me. And why it was because, all the former players that came back from all the generations, Reggie Miller and Rick Smith and, Jermaine O'Neal and you name them, Ron Artest, Lance Stevenson, all these guys back and invested in the organization, invested in the city. And then all the international fans I met. That's what really surprised me. It's like, we're not like the big, sexy, Knicks or Lakers that have fans like all over the world. But I met people from Brazil and people from Spain and people from Italy that were Pacers fans that came back, that came in for the games, and I was like blown away. I was like, we're the Pacers. We're just kind of the run-of-the-mill NBA organization, and just to see all that, and be there. We won one, lost one on my trip back, but just to see the excitement for the city, and it's like, this is how it should be. And, you had to suffer through some down years to get to this point. So great experience. And, just, I can't ask for them to do any more. They lose in 7, but I'm proud of them. I'm very proud of them. I'd rather be at a parade today. That wasn't meant to be.
There you go. Great job on Keegan Bradley last week. Nice outright for you, Wes. The Rocket Classic, Kalamurakawa, 12-1. Cantlay, 16-1. Keegan's back at 18-1. Ben Griffin, 22-1. Bomber Cam Young at 25-1. Who we looking at this week?
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere at the top. Morikawa, by the way, he changes his caddy again. It was announced earlier this morning. So, he and Cantlay, I think, rightful favorites, and they're trying to get something turned around and win to get, to cement them for the Ryder Cup. Maybe like Keegan Bradley, like the captain did last week, he's probably going to pick himself. I would assume he would. But I'm going to give Cameron Young one chance at 28-1. I know he was poor last week, even though he started well in the first round, but 6th and 2nd are the 2 appearances he has made here at the Rocket Classic in Detroit. He had a U.S. Open hangover last week, so Cameron Young 28-1. Davis Thompson, 40-1. 4-way tie for 2nd here last year. And if you remember, this time last summer is where he started to kind of get it going, and we eventually cashed him at the John Deere later on in the summer. He was 2nd on approach, 3rd tee to green last week, was bad putting. I'm going to dismiss that as just a bad week. He's hitting the ball really well. I think he plays well this week. Wyndham Clark, 44-1. He took out his frustrations on the lockers at Oakmont, and then he kind of gave an apology last week. Kind of didn't, but nevertheless played solid up there. T17, a couple good rounds in the 1st and 3rd round. Top 10 finish here back in 2022. I think he could go well and try to get himself in the Ryder Cup consideration, much like Matt Fitzpatrick's trying to do for Team Europe. 45-1, 7 of 8 cuts he's made. Top 10 at the PGA. Getting used to his new caddy, starting to improve gradually every time out. So Matt Fitzpatrick at 45, and then 3 bombs for you. Emiliano Grillo at 80-1, 4 top 25s in a row, made 9 of his last 10 cuts, really good with the short wedges, and that's what you have to be here on this course because there's really no threat off the tee. He's contended in these Midwest Birdie Fests before, at the 3M Open, at the John Deere. I think he could do so again, and then a couple triple digits. Jesper Svensson, the Swede, at 105-1, 2nd in driving distance in this field, 2nd in strokes gained par 5, 3rd in birdie or better, 4th off the tee. I think he's going to love this place where you can just bomb it with reckless abandon, spray it all over the place, and then make a bunch of birdies, which he can do. And then lastly, Lee Hodges, 110-1. Best finish of this calendar year, a couple starts ago at the Canadian Open where he finished 9th. Missed some time with the rib injury when he started the calendar year. Actually pretty good with back-to-back top 10s. Not great form here in Detroit, but you remember him 2 years ago. He won in the Twin Cities at the 3M Open by 7 shots. And I think he was 24 under par, so this is a guy who can make a lot of birdies. And that's what this is going to be. This is going to be north of something 20 under par to win this thing. It's a pretty easy course for these guys.
All right. Follow Wes on Twitter. One more thing for you, Wes. Who's going to start Game 1 for the Colts at quarterback this year? Daniel Jones?
It'll be Jones. And I felt it when they actually signed him because they don't seem to have the confidence in Richardson. They've lost confidence in him, and now he's got this shoulder thing that's popped up. So I think it is going to be Daniel Jones week 1 in Indianapolis.
Follow Wes on Twitter at Wes Reynolds 1. Great stuff as always. Wes, we'll talk to you next week. Thank you, buddy.
You bet, fellas. Congrats on the Tigers in Omaha.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. Again, Wes Reynolds each and every week. Of course, our consensus picks coming up in our next segment, brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown. So we also remind our folks that our friends at Workbox and Workbox Services for all of your portable storage needs, my friends over at Workbox. Workbox Services, again, Martin Padial, and boy, they're expanding as well, huh? How about that? Expanding all the way from to the New Orleans and Gulf South region, all the way up to Lake Charles. Our staff is bigger and better than ever over at Workbox. So, again, for Workbox, again, commercial or residential movable storage needs, shipping containers come in various sizes, 8x8, 8x10, 8x20, even 8x40 feet. So you name it, we've got it for you for all different sizes. We talked about how we've expanded our coverage all the way down to the Gulf South, the New Orleans and Lake Charles area, and also our team as well. Martine Jr. joining his father, Martine Sr., Hannah, Brandy, Chris Brooks, all of our good staff, our great team over at Workbox. So bigger, stronger, better than ever. Workbox and WorkboxLLC.com, 343-4886.
Live at Snows, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Our Wednesday consensus golf picks are brought to you by Dana Brown at the law offices of O.C. Brown.
Can I just say that the Rocket Classic's got a little soft spot in my heart? This golf tournament in Detroit, Michigan.
What bet did you win?
No, it wasn't that I won a bet, although that's a very good guess as to why. This was the first thing I remember watching after COVID. I don't think it was the first event, but it's the first thing I watched. It was like the first. It was like a month later or a few weeks later.
I was trying to sell you on it.
Yeah, it was like I was like, I'm going to sit down and watch golf in Michigan today, and I watched pretty much the whole tournament that year. And it was coming out of, there was nothing, going on for so long. And then this was one of the first things I watched.
I know you gave Jay Monahan no class, but he does get some credit for bringing golf back quickly. It's an outdoor sport, and it should have been obvious.
He was instrumental.
He was a big
part of
it out there. So
should have brought that up. Should have brought that up before. That goes a long way with me.
No, me too.
It goes a long way with me.
Me too. The one in Texas was first. Was it Schwab?
Schwab, yes.
And then the one in Myrtle Beach.
Hilton Head Island.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I was on vacation or something. I was out of town. This was the first one that I watched, so that's why got a little soft spot for me.
I always forget his name. He outdueled Abraham Answer to beat
Berger?
Webb Simpson.
Oh, Webb. Webb was in the Heritage.
Webb. Yeah, he was on a roll. He must hit a lot of balls during COVID because he came back sharp, man. He was really sharp. So, all right. So you heard Wes Reynolds. It was not a consensus pick last week, but it was his pick. So how many is that this season? Max, I know you keep track.
Ooh, overall winners. I know we have 4 consensus, but Wes has 5, I have 5, and Jeff has 4. So I guess that makes it.
Wes has 5 outrights.
Yes, 5 this season.
That's
and some.
And some close and some tough
some big numbers in there too. Harris English 100-1, Nick Taylor 110-1. So,
jeez,
pretty profitable.
All right, Max, you heard Wes. So let's see who you got, and then we'll give out the consensus picks.
Rocket Classic, formerly known as the Rocket Mortgage Classic. That's a big thing with these brands nowadays. They bring in people to change their name a little bit. HBO Max went to Max, and now it's HBO Max again. Like, okay, whatever. I guess that's cool. But I'm going to go with a guy who was a former loan officer at a mortgage company, and that's Ben Griffin at 22-1. He should fit in right perfectly here. But I think he's the best player in this field.
At least you said instead of Billy Maxwell. But go ahead. All right, go ahead.
He's the best player in this field, Jimmy. Not Colin Morikawa. It's not Patrick Cantlay right now. And maybe you could make the argument that Keegan Bradley's actually the best player, but he's coming off a long week, an exciting win. He even mentioned he's pretty tired earlier today. So I think Ben Griffin's the best player. His worst finish in his last 5 starts was last week. It was a T14. Like, woof. That's terrible, huh? And Scotty Scheffler has 3 wins to his name this year. Ben Griffin could tie him this week. He's got 2 already, the Missouri Classic and the Schwab. Sure, he doesn't have a major victory like Scheffler does, but Ben Griffin to me is just the best player. He's rolling right now. He's doing what great golfers should do when they're at their best. They keep following it up. You might as well take advantage of your form while you have it, and he's just a great player, good on wedge fest like this, an easy course, the winning score is going to be 20-something under or so. So Ben Griffin. And also we can expect to see the course get a little bit more difficult this weekend just because they're going to undergo renovations after this. They're going to change up the golf course. Typically when we see a course in its last leg before renovation, they kind of let the golf course go a little bit. The greens get firm. They did get a bunch of rain yesterday, so that'll kind of soften the course, unfortunately. But Ben Griffin, 22-1. He's my pick to win. I think he's going to win, and so I'm going to follow it up with some longer shots from here. Rasmus Højgaard, 60-1. Just a class player from Europe. Hasn't had the best finish. His one good finish this year was at the Zurich Classic when he was with his twin brother Nikolai, who I'm also going to bet this week at 90-1. Just two players, pretty good wedge players, which is important this week. You're going to have a lot of 50 to 100-yard shots, and both the Højgaard twins are pretty good from that range. Also plenty long enough. There's not a whole lot of penalty off the tee, so you might as well give it a rip. So Rasmus Højgaard, 60-1. Nikolai Højgaard, 90-1. The two twins I'm going to bet this week. Steven Jaeger, 66-1. Kind of disappeared after a good start to the season, but also someone who hits the ball, kind of wails at it. Has a bit of a left miss going this season, but ultimately I don't think that'll cost him too much this year or this week at the Rocket Classic. But Jaeger, just to me, a quality player who makes enough birdies. Also third in this field in strokes gained par 5s. There are 4 par 5s this week. They all play pretty easy, so you got to get some birdies, maybe some eagles at these par 5s, and Jaeger, I think, will do that for sure at 66-1. A few more long shots here. Rio Hisatsune, 90-1, just playing a guy who I like this week at a course that, a good wedge fest. That should suit his game as well. 21st in par 5 scoring in this field, and also has a similar win at a Donald Ross design at Sedgefield. He didn't win, but he came runner-up last year at Sedgefield, the Wyndham Championship at the end of the year. These are Donald Ross greens. The one real defense of this golf course, slope heavy from back to front. That's the one design we see at Pinehurst number 2, for example. Donald Ross greens play a little different, so at least he has some good history out of Donald Ross golf course. Rico Hoey, 90-1. Hoey, someone who's also a really, really good wedge player, dominant in these buckets of 50 to 125 yards. Also did really well at this tournament in the past. Hoey has a finish of 6th place last year in this tournament, his only appearance here. And then finally, Jesper Svensson, who you heard from Wes Reynolds earlier, at 100-1. A bomber off the tee, won't get super penalized off the tee, so just being able to wail on it a little bit. And also a pretty good putter at times. He was in a bit of a lull recently, but got it back with a T18 finish in his last performance at the Canadian Open.
All right, so we got 4 consensus picks this week. So the Hoey is around 100-1, you said?
90-1 is his best price.
90-1. Svensson's best price?
100-1 for Jesper Svensson.
Okay, so Ben Griffin at 22-1 is consensus pick. That's one of the 4. Ben Griffin at 22-1. He's been on fire, huh? I mean, what's the one that we came so close? Was that is it make a run to U.S. Open?
Yeah, he was in the mix. He finished 10th. He was kind of outside looking in, but he finished second to Scotty Scheffler at the Memorial, if you remember.
Yes.
And that was right after winning the Charles Schwab, so he's in great form.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's what, last month or so, he's as hot as anybody. It's probably Scheffler than him?
Last 5 tournaments, he has finished top 15 in all of them and has a win.
And the only guys playing better than that is
Scheffler,
Scotty,
in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yep. You can maybe put Bradley there, but yeah.
Well, in your opinion or scores? I mean,
I'd say both.
I would think
Ben Griffin's the best player other than Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah,
right now.
I think that's what I'm saying. If it form, okay. Cam Young, this is come on, man. This doesn't just suit his style though.
It does. He's got great finishes here. There's no doubt about it.
And hot putter.
Right now, yes.
It's scorching right now. Is that sustainable?
Well, he's done it over the last 7 events, so maybe it is sustainable. I tend to think putting, you avoid that. But
Svensson is the third one, again at 100-1, and then Rico Hoey, Hoey.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from Snow Seafood and Steak in Gonzales on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Don't forget Total Maintenance, your one-stop heating and air conditioning, generators, electricity, and plumbing. Nobody wants to go to sleep hot. It's service today, every day at Total Maintenance. Now in Baton Rouge, 480-1000. In New Orleans, 841-3300. Service today, every day with Total Maintenance. NBA draft tonight. Not a whole lot of suspense at the top. First two picks are pretty much etched in stone. Number 3 looks like increasingly Philadelphia is going to take VJ Edgecombe. And after that, it gets a little bit interesting. Could be Jeremiah Fears for the Pelicans. Could be Ace Bailey. Could be Malawach. Thank you very much. Could be Trey Johnson from Texas. All of those players in play. And for the second pick that they got in the trade last week, Walter Clayton Jr. is a real popular name from Florida. I wouldn't mind seeing him at all.
I've seen a little Danny Wolf love from Michigan. If they don't go with Malawach with the 7th pick, if they need a big, because they do need a big now. They've only got really 2 on their roster. Maybe Danny Wolf would be in that range with the 2nd pick as well.
And you had said something about Queen from Maryland. We kind of got squeezed there at the end of the first hour.
Yeah, Jonathan Gavoni of ESPN just reporting that in the last 24 hours he's heard a connection. The new Weaver,
Troy Weaver,
assistant to the president of basketball ops, as I understand his title is. His son was a manager on that Maryland team, and he was from the Wizards, so he was close by to Maryland's success. So there's some links there, and we just saw a trade with Washington, right? So Weaver clearly has some influence in terms of bringing in some Washington or familiar players.
Queen looked at as a kind of a mid-first round pick, the kind of guy that's not going to be there, or it's going to be there at 7, but would be considered a reach. Probably won't be there at 23. I liked him as a player. I'm just not sure if the draft capital fits. Thanks to the folks here at Snow's for being our hosts today. Tomorrow we are at Finbom Sushi Burrito Poke Ramen right next to Rouse's. For Jimmy, for Max, for Nathan, and Jordan back in the studio, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.